you guess what we are having delivered? The metal for our house. We are so excited. So guys, we want to give a huge shout out to Roundhouse Metals. They helped make this possible for us, and it has been so awesome for them to provide the metal for our house. We are so grateful. Dallas, Austin, and Austin's good friend George went to Missouri and made the metal for our house, and it was just really awesome. So we wanted you to see how it was done. All right, so after that exciting delivery of metal, it was time to get back to work on this PEX pipe. So as you can see, we are finishing trimming up all the PVC around the PEX that is still sticking out of the ground. And Austin's having to use quite a few air tools to get everything trimmed down and accessible. Basically what's going to happen here is once he gets the PVC around the PEX trimmed down, then we will put on a PEX clamp, which is a little silver ring, and then goes in a black joiner piece. That will be so we can join the new PEX to the old PEX. And then at the end of that will also be another clamp. Everything will get tightened down, and hopefully everything will be leak free. Obviously we have to plumb water to the foundation and shoot water through those pipes just to make sure we don't have any leaks anywhere. Well guys, we got all this metal. We were thinking we were gonna have to unload it by hand, but we had a nice neighbor come down and offer his services with his tractor, and he's going to use it to unload the metal. So we are so grateful for good neighbors. Okay guys, so it's the next weekend. We've got all of our PEX Good. We have no more leaks. So now what we're gonna do is, okay, so we've got a water hose here. This water hose runs up to the old house, the one we currently live in. And we are going to run hot water through this hose. Now you see it's a little short, so we're going to splice on some PEX so we can make it all the way back over there to where we've been working. And we're gonna run water through and see if we can use our Topdon thermal imaging camera to see where the water is going throughout the floor here. And then if any of those lines land on a stud, we will be able to see it. This is going to help with whenever we put our concrete screws in, that we do not puncture any of those PEX lines for the in-floor heating. Okay, so right now Austin is just extending this piece of PEX that he's working on to reach the water hose, since our water hose wouldn't reach all the way over here, and he'll just splice the two together so we can get water to these pipes.
We have my crimpers back there. One's on the back of the truck. Sorry, I forgot them.
All right, so we got everything hooked up. So this is the normal water hose right here. Here's a fitting that goes and connects this to the PEX. These are the PEX clamps that hook onto the PEX pipe. And this has like a little nodule that comes out and goes down in here. These just keep this tight so that can't slip off. And we've got water. We made it all the way to the end of the line. We're just waiting on it to be warm. Now we think we're gonna have to use the Topdon gun at night because the sun is beating down on the concrete and making it
all looks warm.
False readings.
Yeah,
so it all looks warm. So we're probably gonna have to do this one at night. Okay, so now we are running a string line on the outside of this south wall. And we are going to start plumbing up the walls, making sure everything is level. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So after we ran our string line, we had to get the level and put it on the outer walls just to see how far out of plumb they were. If it was out of plumb, then it had to be cut free from the interior walls, and then we will level it up and then reattach as needed. I'm getting tired, so it's time for a fire salt break. So good. Okay, so we got some walls kind of pushed around and cut apart, and Austin went and cut some shims. So now we're gonna put some shims up in there and make sure everything stays where we put it. So we're gonna air nail those in.
All right, so we went and cut some pieces of 1/2-inch plywood. I cut some wedges. I cut some little bitty shims just to try to put in between these two walls right here and get this outside wall plumbed up, try to get it straight. I'm noticing my slab kind of has some zigzag to it. I'm not that worried about it. The bottom is pretty good. Also, the top plates are kind of bent a little bit just from being 20-foot lumber. So worst case scenario, I'll put some furring strips on the outside of this to make the outside nice and straight when we go to put the OSB on it.
So the furring strips he's referring to are some 1-bys you might have seen leaned in the window there. We ultimately decided we did not need to use the furring strips. We were afraid that if we were to put those on, that it would cause blemishes as far as when you looked at the metal, you could see waves in it. So we didn't want to have to do that. So we utilized all the wedges and shims, which are the same thing. And we ended up getting this wall pretty darn straight. Okay, we got a new tool we're going to be using today. We got a planer from Vevor or however you say it.
Vevor.
Yep. So we're going to use that.
on the outside, right?
Yep. So I'm gonna use it on the outside walls. A couple of the studs are not lined up. I'm also gonna use it on the top plates to try to get them fairly level.
We're gonna make some scaffolding so we can use it and Austin can get a nice view of the top plate of the house so we can get these walls level.
Yeah, plane it down also. I just want to be above it when I plane it down.
Okay, so we went around and picked up some old reclaimed lumber that we had laying around from a building we tore down on the property years ago. And we got our plan together of how big we wanted the scaffolding to be, and we started cutting all of the boards to length. And then we are going to get all those boards laid out and nailed together so we can make a sturdy platform for Austin to stand on. Here's when we started nailing everything together. Austin had everything cut and ready to go, like I said before, and we were able to assemble this thing pretty quickly. And it's super sturdy, it is super heavy, but we want to make sure that no one falls or gets hurt while we are using this thing around the house. Now, traditional scaffolding would not have worked for this project because we would not have been able to fit it through the doorways to move it from room to room. Normally, scaffolding has wheels on it, makes it really easy and simple to move, but this worked out better for us. So, here's our walk board, scaffolding, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty sturdy. Austin's been up there. So, we built that out of scrap wood. Easy peasy. Okay guys, so we are going to start bracing up the front a little better. We've already got some braces in place here, but we need to put some extras because we are plumbing these walls and making sure they're nice and straight and even. So let's start with this board right here and get this braced up a little better. So the first thing we had to do was take loose this interior wall from the exterior wall so that we can move it and get it straight. We got a level on it, got it where we wanted it, and then reattached it here to the exterior wall. And then we had to go over to the exterior wall and start moving the brace that was holding everything up there and move the wall however we needed it and reattach the brace. So once we got everything buttoned up there, we moved to the entryway here and basically did the same thing by cutting the interior wall free from the exterior wall so that we could get everything level and plumb and reattach it as needed. So everything looked good here, and we decided to move on to another interior wall, which you'll see here in just a moment. And we've got that string line ran right here and a brace across what's going to be our hallway. So Austin did have to break out the planer again right here because we had some wavy walls that we did not want to have to deal with. Because once it comes time to do drywall, you will regret having any walls that have any wave or wobble to them at all. So we had to get those straight now before we get that far into the process of building this home.
Okay guys, so we came outside, it's nighttime. We're testing the Topdon. We've got our hot water running through our lines and you can see it. Plain as day, running through the in-floor heating. So that's a win-win. So we thought this was pretty cool. You can see how your hand will transfer to this.
Watch when I move it.
Cool piece of wood.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. All right, guys. So it's working.
So right there's a normal slab, and you can see where the hot PEX is running down through there.
Yep.
So now we're just going to go along the walls. And on the base of the walls, we're going to put a mark with a pencil showing that, hey, a pipe's going right there. And we'll just stay 6 inches away on each side of it.
concrete screws we were talking about that we were going to use to anchor the walls to the floor. That's why we tracked down the in-floor heating, so we would be sure not to hit any of those pipes.